Do you see what happens when South Africans decide to be xenophobic? They're going to create a problem for themselves. But until then, this is what I've done. I'm going to show you what I've done. And I want to apologize to many of these South Africans there who are not xenophobic. I went to go and buy a new domain called againstxenophobia.com. Okay? Now, what I've done is I've actually made a website. All right? Where
South Africa and xenophobia. Okay, this story needs to be told many times to make sure that people get it. And why you should support organizations like March and March and protect South Africa at all costs.
The first guy in this video is a Congolese guy. Seriously speaking, this guy is doing too much and he's going too far. I don't see any reason why he should be fighting with South Africans. Now, most of you may not really know how this whole thing started, but from the little I know, I will explain to you. According to this guy, he made a video that went viral. Yes, I saw the video, right? He made a video that went viral, and in that video, he called himself a South African. So those that knows him too much, like those that knows him very well, South Africans that knows him very well, came to the comment section saying that he is not a South African, that he should stop claiming South African, right? So the guy now got angry and began to talk too much. Now, let's just assume that he is a South African. Probably he has South African passport. Maybe he was born in South Africa and all that. Now, and South Africans are saying that he's not a South African. For crying out loud, this is social media. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Now, you don't have to go this you don't have to go this far just to bring South Africa down, just to paint them black, creating a website, just for people to, I don't know, I don't really know what he stands to gain. Are you getting it? Now, things like this are extremely wrong. It's not good. It's not even necessary. When someone says that you are not a South African and you know that for sure you are a South African, you have the South African passport, and no one can take it out from you because you are born in South Africa, you are qualified to be a South African. Like, I don't really understand, Sha, but I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm just saying, even if someone comes to you saying that you are not a South African, why don't you allow the person to say whatever he or she wants to say? Does that remove your passport, your name from your passport? No. Does that make any changes? No. So why fighting South Africa? Like, for me, assuming this, let's just assume that this guy has a South African passport. With all those things that he's doing, do you know that South African government can revoke his citizenship or passport? Like, I don't really know. Don't you think? Because he's not even a South African by birth. He's not a South African by birth. His father is not a South African. So why is he fighting this hard? Why? I don't, honestly, this is bad. This is bad. This is extremely wrong. This is so wrong. This is so wrong. When South Africans say you are not a South African, did they shoot you? Did they fight you? When they say that, then it's fine. You have your own mouth. You can defend yourself or you can talk back. Or better still, you stay on your own. You ignore. You use the ignore button. You ignore. Why going this far to dent South Africa image by creating a website, saying all manner of things? That is extremely wrong. It's so wrong. That someone is saying that he or she doesn't want to associate with you, or that he doesn't want you to be in their country, doesn't mean that the person is bad. But you've forgotten that these people have been accommodating millions of Africans for many years, and nobody even commended them. Nobody even for one day said, oh, these people, God bless you so much for feeding millions of Africans in your country, for accommodating millions of Africans. So why now? Why now? Like I said in my previous video in the other channel, most of us grew up not seeing foreigners around us. Most of us grew up only with our fellow Nigerians. But you can never see any South African who will tell you that he or she haven't seen a foreigner before, or he or she haven't seen a Nigerian or Congolese. No. They all grew up with foreigners. Foreigners everywhere, in the hospital, in the school, teachers, everywhere, universities, in the market, shops, stores, spaza shop, everywhere, foreigners. Why are you guys doing this? This is so wrong. Extremely wrong. Like, I condemn this attitude, I condemn this behavior. This is so bad. When we are doing wrong, when Africans are doing wrong, we Africans will not see it. Especially those ones living in South Africa. We will not see it. But the only one that we will see is the actions. When South Africans take actions, that's the only one that we will see. People will begin to repost it. People will begin to share the videos. But when Africans are doing wrong in South Africa, the same Africans will begin to clap for them, and which is extremely bad. It's so bad.
Do you see what happens when South Africans decide to be xenophobic? They're going to create a problem for themselves, a big problem. Because what's going to happen is, us people who go out and get educated, we're going to use that education now to fight that xenophobia. And when we fight that xenophobia, it's not going to make South Africa look good. And this is the problem with many of the xenophobic people in South Africa. They're going to give South Africa a bad image. And this is why South Africans need to come together and seriously condemn the xenophobia in South Africa. Because if not, you're going to be the one holding the bag. So you do not want the evils of these people who are xenophobic to start overshadowing South Africa. But until then, this is what I've done. I'm going to show you what I've done. And I want to apologize to many of these South Africans there who are not xenophobic. But let me show you what I've done. I went to go and buy a new domain called againstxenophobia.com. Okay? Now, what I've done is I've actually made a website. All right? Where on this website, I'm debunking all these claims that xenophobic South Africans have. And when I debunk them, I also cite them. Okay, so this is going to be for our immigrant community who, when you start hearing South Africans say something like, we're not xenophobic, we just want the law obeyed, you can click on this, you can get the response of what that actually means and why they're wrong. And you can even get the citations, okay? Not only that, you can copy it, you can share it with your friends, etc. And you can come here, you can go to the next, there are millions of illegals here, they're taking our jobs, they work for less money, all of these things. They do not pay taxes, they commit all the crime. All of these things, okay? Then once you do this, I want you guys to do something else, okay? Because I've decided I'm going to write a book. And I want you guys' help now to fund this book, all right? So I want you guys to come and just donate. And the reason why I want that is because South Africans have been saying that I've been profiting off of this whole thing. Let's actually give it to them now. Let's go and profit off of this by making sure that this book gets released so that we can give it to all of those people at the taxi ranks in South Africa that are uneducated when it comes to xenophobia. So us as the international community, we're going to come together, we're going to put money together, we're going to produce this book, and we're going to send it to you guys so that you are educated when it comes to xenophobia, so that you can stop hating your African brothers and sisters. This is what you've made me do. I was focusing on studying in America and all of those things, but you guys decided to drag me into this. So now I will be here and I will come and help you guys with this issue. So international community, let's go fund this book, so that we can start educating these people.
South Africa and xenophobia. Okay, this story needs to be told many times to make sure that people get it. And why you should support organizations like March and protect South Africa at all cost. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be South African, Nigerian, Mozambican, Malawian, Zimbabwe. It doesn't matter. Okay, the story is bigger than South Africa itself. What is happening here, guys, is most important. You need to know that as it stands in 2026, South Africa is by far the most functional country on the continent of Africa. From the fact that it's still democratic, there's still elections that mean something and people can vote their leaders in and out. And most importantly, you have goods and services that you have everywhere else in the world. So you could be poor, like, when I lived in South Africa, I was a poor young man. Right, I lived in the hood, in the township, in Delft, in Cape Town. And then you can also become wealthy. You have mobility in South Africa. You can become from poor to rich, and the country has goods and services to match you at your level. This is very important because you can be a millionaire and you could buy yourself a Lamborghini if you want to, or you could go, let's say you're in Uganda and you want to buy a Lamborghini. You can buy yourself one, but where are you going to drive it? Because you have potholes and roads that are not just up to standard, and some roads don't even have tarmac, or they don't have asphalt. So I can tell you right now, you could be in Durban driving a Corsa Light, like what I used to have back in the day. You could be driving that car, but I'm telling you, you are having a much better experience, a much better quality of life than someone driving a Lamborghini in Lagos. This is a fact, because you need to have the infrastructure to do it. But also, if you drive a little fast, maybe you might crash, and you need a helicopter to fly into the scene quickly and take you out and give you treatment. Not many countries in Africa can give you this. Okay, and they'll actually fly you. If you're rich, maybe they might fly you to London to receive medical treatment. That's how bad things can get if you allow mediocrity, lawlessness become the state of life, the norm, the equilibrium. Because we can talk about physics maybe a little bit. Okay, there is a concept of entropy in nature where things basically move from high to low, right? Just like water or your house or your car. You can, if you just build a house and you check it out 10 years later, even without living in the house, you'll find that you may have to do some renovations eventually. If you don't do any renovations, that house is going to deteriorate by itself. Even a car, you can just park it in the garage and never drive it, and then you come back one day like, oh, but I never drove it. You start the car, it doesn't move because of entropy. So the only way you can sustain, or another example is poverty. Poverty also is a natural state of life, because wealth means you create things, you build things, you create wealth. So if you want to have a functional country, you have to demand, you have to want it, and you have to demand it, you have to put the effort, the energy to get it out. And I think that's what March and March are doing. They demand and say, hey, we don't think that this is a way of life that we want to live, where the cities are so filthy and garbage everywhere, unsafe, drugs, and criminals are just running rampant, and mafias, doing whatever the things that they want. We want accountability, and we want people that are doing the bad things to go to jail. But also we need to know who is in the country. Like, this is good for everybody, because you know what? A city like Johannesburg that is so unsafe is not good for you. It's not good for, even if you're an illegal immigrant, it's also not good for you, because your children are not safe, your own life is unsafe. I know people personally that lost their lives in the township where I used to live, like close friends or family that lost their life to gun violence in the townships, in Delft, in Kairicha, and so on. So demanding order just means you're going to have a much better life. People will get documented so that the system knows who is where. The borders will be more secure so that criminals just don't pour in and out. Because it's not like if you're a Mozambican or Zimbabwean or Malawian, you don't need a visa to go to South Africa. You just freaking use a passport. You get 30 days at the border. So let's not act as if there is some kind of a special operation to not allow people to get in. You can legally come in and legally leave as well. What people are saying is just like, there are people that just pour into the country without even any documentation, because the borders are just porous. So let's support this movement, and I think it inspires many other countries to do much better. Like I said, you could be a millionaire today and you move to Malawi and you want to buy an iPhone. There's not even Apple stores there. You don't even have a Nike store to just buy gym clothes. So that's how bad things can get. Or areas where when it rains, I saw this in Mozambique, it rained at some point and the streets literally became rivers where you cannot even drive a car. And then most people have these small cars, right? The Toyotas. So let's not act like that is the norm, because I think that is the problem. So many people on the continent have accepted this whole mediocrity of life as just the norm. You go into the city, you've got hawkers on the streets, on the pavement selling things, you can't even walk there anymore. They think that's normal. They say that's business, that's the economy, that's like creating jobs. No, that's not normal, bro. We deserve better. So this is not about South Africa itself necessarily, it's about the continent of Africa. Demanding high quality of life, where people, we demand better, we demand ambulances, we demand population, we demand economic growth for the entire population, good education. But you cannot say that, oh, they're targeting the Africans. It's like, bro, you're being dishonest. And many of you guys do not want accountability and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, look, there is really a problem here across the continent and we have to solve it. All right. I created a group on WhatsApp of like-minded individuals where we can discuss things like this in a more deeper way. I don't like the negative people in there who are just there to complain and, I like people who are more solution-oriented and who can think without the emotions, who can think rationally and, who are more rational. Join that group. The link is above there. Check it out. And we also talk about other things as like AI, and, you know, modern ways of generating incomes online and all these things that I'm into. Fitness as well. So if you're one of those people and you are looking for a community to belong to, join that WhatsApp community. I just started it now, and I'll see you guys there. Let me know what you think in the comments about what's going on with March and March. But I think South Africa, I'm so hopeful for South Africa. I have so much hope because it's my favorite country still to this day to visit in Africa. Or if I had to live anywhere else in Africa, I would live in South Africa still, because it has so much potential. You know, it just needs, you know, that one thing. It just needs like the leadership up the top to get fixed. And it can only happen when people put in the effort. They demand it, right? Remember, entropy. We just need energy to get to the top, and then, you know, once that gets fixed, it might become the new haven of the world. Peace out, guys.